Do you believe in what you're going after? Do you believe like your energy, right? Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And she talked about, your energy being a train and the train heading in the direction of your reality, because that's what most people live in, the direction of their reality, where they are in their health, where they are in their finances, where they are in their relationships. They live in that. And we're not being naive, but you have to change your focus into the things that you want, not the things you don't want. I'm going to say that again because this is a huge issue for a lot of people. You have to shift your energy into focusing on the things that you do want, not the things you don't want. Okay. I know you don't want to be unhealthy. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be poor, financial, struggle. You don't want to have that. Like, I get it, but what do you want? What does it look like financially for you? What does it look like in your health life? What does it look like? That's why I constantly talk to you about vision and designing your ideal life. Well, that means you have to know what life you're trying to go after. So then we can turn that train around so that we can remove that negativity, so that we can start changing our language. She said, right? Change the way you think, what you say, and how you feel. That's the process. Remember, nothing external changes if you don't change inside. So that's this process of saying, hey, it's possible. Do you believe it's possible? Do you have that belief inside of you? Do you remove yourself from the negativity, from the negative thoughts? Do you capture every thought and say, that thought doesn't serve where my train wants to go? I know it might be where it's headed right now, but I want to go that direction. So I'm going to take that thought and I'm going to change it and say, you know what? It is possible. I can do that. Yeah, there's possibility there. These are just reminders, ladies and gentlemen. These are reminders of the things that we got to go off and do in order to design our ideal life. That's what we're here for. Okay. So that was one. I told you I'm gonna give you a second one. This one's a little bit longer, but this one hit me in the heart just because I deal with a lot of people, talk to a lot of people. So I want you to listen to this one.
I don't normally share this kind of advice, but I'm going to give you 5 ways to know that you're hanging out with the wrong person. And if you have these 5 character traits, you will be poor in perpetuity. You're spreading generational poverty. And this is something that happened to me this weekend, where I recognized these 5 traits in someone else, and it let me know I had to spread this message to those who need it. There's someone who has been in my ear for about a week now who wants a property that I have on the market, but it's not for rent, it's for sale, but they want me to rent it to them. And they brought over a whole bunch of people to try to change my mind about it. And there's a whole story that goes behind this, and one of these days I might do a live and explain it better. But you know how your gut instinct says that this is not going to be a good tenant? But if you want to buy the property, you can. But as a tenant, I can see the problems in you. And when she opened her mouth and she started talking, I realized she has the mind of generational poverty. And she has a kid, and she's about to spread that to her own kid. And these are the 5 traits I picked up from her that I think is really, really going to be keen to someone else, whether you recognize it in yourself or someone that you know. And if you have any of these 5 traits, you're on the brink of generational poverty. Number 1, to start out, where you consistently blame others for where you are in life. If you are over the age of, I'd say 30, and you're still blaming your parents, the school system, a friend, a relative, someone who has passed on, someone who's passed away, if you're blaming someone for the fact that you are not in the position you want to be in, you will forever be poor. Self-accountability starts when you take ownership of the fact that you have allowed something to come into your life, whether it was the wrong person, the wrong friendship, whatever it is. And when it comes to blaming someone of your past, they only gave you what they knew how to give you. If you're going to be of 35, 40, 50 years old and still blame your parents, they only could have given you the kind of life that they knew how to. Every generation's responsibility is to be the person who gives the next generation a head start. You may or you may not believe me, but I always say this. My grandfather's life was better than his father's life. My mother's life was better than her father's life. My life was better than my mother's life, and my son's life is better than mine. And we'll continue to keep this thing going. Have I been through some ish? Of course. But am I going to hold my mother hostage for that? No. She gave me the tools that she knew how to give at the time she knew how to give it. It was my job to say that if the life that I want is not going to be predicated on what she was able to give me. I have to go out there and seek the life that I want. At some point, the blame game has to end. When I was talking to this lady this weekend, all she blamed was the realtor and the friend and the neighbor and the bank and the this and the HOA. She blamed everyone, but never once took ownership for herself. Once you are a blamer, you will practice generational poverty. Next, falling for every gimmick and scheme in the market. Every get-rich-quick scheme in the market that has your name on it, instead of staying slow and steady and on pace, you'll be poor forever. In this investing game, I've told you I'm a rental property owner, period. I don't go from Airbnb to arbitrage to non-arbitrage to this to that. I stick with what's slow, steady, and proven and consistent. That's it. Don't get me wrong, I've been doing flips here and there in between. But my job is not to fall for every gimmick. Remember not too long ago at the beginning of COVID, there was this thing called Turo and everybody was renting their cars out. And people started going out and buying new cars to go rent them out on this website. Where is that now? Oh, okay. There's so many influencers on this app. If you follow all these car dealers that are trying to find ways to give advice to people who've been renting high-end cars on these apps and it didn't work out, because then, of course, the app started charging more fees and customers weren't making as much money, and some cities were putting, certain types of restrictions on Turo rentals. People are now stuck with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cars that are depreciating in value because they fell for a scheme and a scam. Not saying it was a scheme and a scam, but there are get-rich-quick schemes that if you got rich quick, you got to get out. But so many people stayed in for too long, and there are people who have G-Wagons in their driveway that they can't get rid of because of the fact that that market is over. Airbnbs, I don't hear too much about them. Do you? I'm not saying it's over. I'm just saying some people bought properties just to do Airbnb, and now they have turned into glorified maids at their own homes. All they do is go there and clean it up and get ready for the next one. That wasn't the business model they signed up for. But because you fall for a scheme every time that there's one out, you don't stick to what works. You just fall for what is in today. You keep falling for a scheme, I guarantee you'll be in generational poverty. Next, mistaking critique as criticism. Always remember this. Critique is given by someone who is doing better than you. Criticism is someone who's either at or below your level. Never mix up the two. Whenever I'm being critiqued by someone who is in a more senior position than I am, either financially or in their life or in their business. I accept critique. Oh, but criticism. I don't listen to people criticize me who are not doing better than me. Your job is to discern between criticism and critique. Now, most of you are going to see what's the difference. If you are willing to sit in the seat that the person who's criticizing you is in, that's critique. That advice does not come cheap. Take it, do something with it, and go on to the next thing. And also with critique versus criticism, you don't need to be defensive. Do what they say because it works. How do you know it works? Because they sit in a seat that you want to sit in. But defensive people are always broke because they're going to say, but what if, and I can't, and you don't know. I'm not interested. If you are one of these people who are always inviting criticism into your life and then trying to defend yourself against criticism when the people who are criticizing you are not doing as well as you, then you're a fool for spending so much time answering and defending yourself against an attack that is not at your level. I would rather be critiqued any day than criticized. A lot of people give me criticism, but as long as you're not on my level, I'm not listening. I have to be willing to exchange seats with you in order for me to accept what you're saying. Next, fear of failing in front of people who are failing. This is going to be a hard one. Most people want perfection on the first try. That's how I know you're going to be poor. You're not ready to fail in front of anyone, much less to fail in front of people who are already failing. Here's what I mean by that. You want to prove that you will succeed in front of people who've always said that you were failing, but they were always failing. Why don't you prove yourself right to yourself? I have nothing to prove to anyone here on this app, to many of you people in my, and nobody, family, nothing. I have something to prove to me. My job is not to prove anything to anyone else who is failing. That's what is called defensiveness. If you're successful at what I want to be successful in, then I want to prove myself to those who are successful. Or just prove it to myself. You never know how far you can go until you have to prove yourself to yourself. But why are you so hell-bent on proving yourself to people who you would never exchange seats with? It's beyond me. And last, this is the one that'll keep you poor the longest. Pride and ego. Oh, that pride thing. You won't ask a question of anyone who's more successful than you because you have too much pride. Oh, and your ego says you're doing it right just your own way, right? And nothing has worked. You see that nothing is working, but you keep doing it your way. Any business that has ever failed, especially you micropreneurs that have been selling that one candle for 2, 3 decades with that one Amazon book it's 99 cents on Amazon and you claim it you're a bestseller, it's because you have too much pride and too much ego. Especially those of you who are in the coaching business. And y'all know I'm always hell bent, my foot on your neck, saying that is the wrong business because you can't scale time. But your ego is caught up in it. You love the fact that people know you, but you can't scale time. But your ego is caught up in it. Your ego says, all these people know me and they come to me for advice, but you can't scale time. And any business that is unscalable will never grow. And your pride won't let you go to people who have done it better than you and say, I'm willing to listen, I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to not question. Your pride and your ego will get your net worth every time. And it'll keep you in a constant state of taking your own advice and thinking that the reason why you're failing is a whole myriad of other things. This is when we start blaming race, religion, gender, location, ... Meanwhile, it has nothing to do with that. It has something to do with your pride and your ego. If you get rid of these 5 things, you're going to be okay. But the thing is, most of you don't want to stand in that mirror and admit that any of these 5 are on you. So why don't you get in front of more transparent people that'll be willing to tell you the truth? You are not where you want to be because one of those 5 are on your back. But defensive people defend a thing that doesn't work. And then while it doesn't work, they end up blaming someone else and then they start the cycle all over again. Check yourself. Your ego is showing. Go do something that makes money, okay? And stop blaming other people. Please and thanks.
Tough preaching for a Wednesday morning, huh? If I hit you, I didn't mean to miss you. These are reminders. These are reminders. She gave you a bunch. Most people deal with that. I deal with a lot of people, and I see a lot of that in a lot of people. Just go through it. Blaming others. How much do we talk about that here? Nothing external of you should control your internal side, right? But it happens all the time. We blame everything around us for where we are. Keeps people poor. Keep you where you are. It's not the way to design your ideal life. So if that's you or if that's the people you're around, because some of you have already kind of mastered that where you're like, hey, I don't blame people. I take full ownership and accountability of my life. But some of you are around blamers. You're around people, the people that are in your ear that constantly be like, oh, the world, oh, the government, oh, this, oh. Got to get away from them because that's going to get in. That's going to get in, and you're going to become that. You're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. So if that's your friend group, if that's your family, if they're the ones blaming, you're going to be the next blamer. So you got to get away from them. Take ownership for your life, right? The difference, well, she talked about like following the trends, get rich quick things, people that jump from this to that to that to this to that. That's in style. This is in style. I watch a lot of people do that too. And that's why they can't get anywhere. So it's something to pay attention to. Are you focused on what you got to do? And are you going down that path? That's what she talked about. Third thing, critique versus criticism. Critique versus criticism. I've lost a lot of people in my life because I've tried to help them. It may come off as criticism, but I'm critiquing their style, their method. They're like just tweaking some things. And a lot of times we don't take that well. And so understand criticism, like she said, from people that you wouldn't want to exchange seats with. I don't want to be in your position, so you can't criticize me. You can live your life and I'll live mine because I'm happier where I am than where you are. But if there is somebody that has a better marriage than you, that is healthier than you, that is more financially stable than you, that is better in business than you've been in business longer, have better relationships, better spiritually, right? More mature spiritually than you, then it would make sense if they told you to do something, you probably should. You probably should not be defensive and not say, oh, you're criticizing me for how I know, like I want to be there eventually. So that means I'm going to listen. We struggle with that. Most people are not coachable. Most people don't take in the information that they need when people are actually trying to help them. Right. I'll give a quick story because I have people that come to me, younger people that want me to mentor them here and there. And I always say there's a mentor-mentee relationship people don't understand because a lot of people don't have mentors. I've had great mentors in my life. So I had to learn the mentor-mentee relationship. The mentor is always willing to give, only if the mentee actually does what you say. I don't want to give if you're not going to do it. What's the purpose of me giving? Just so you can have some more information? I'm not, that's not the mentor mentee relationship. The mentor mentee relationship is I'm going to give you all that I know and help you get to where you want to go. And you're going to do it. You're not going to push back and say, oh, that's not me. No, you're going to do it. And then you create a great mentor mentee relationship. Fear of failing in front of people that are failing. The fear of failing, one, which a lot of people have, will keep you poor, right? Because that means you're not trying. If you're scared to like failure, you've heard us talk about this all the time, failure is a part of success. Like the only way to get to success of anything is you have to fail through it. John Maxwell has a book called Failing Forward. That's all you're doing. So if you are afraid to fail first, you're never going to be, we can't get to the life we don't need a break from if we're scared to fail. Then add on that second part, failing in front of people that are failing. Happens all the time. We care about, oh, I can't show this person. They were the ones that doubted me anyway. They said that business never works. They said I couldn't do. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. And I'm going to allow them, the people that are already failing in life, to determine like what I do. It's bonkers, but people do it all the time. You have to check yourself if that's something you do. If you care about the approval of somebody that isn't necessarily doing well in life. Or, right, are you around people that are doing that or thinking about that? So pay attention. Last one, pride and ego. You guys know, right? Removing pride and ego from your life will allow you to then level up. Why? Because exactly like she said, you've been doing things that are not working. I've had to recognize this for myself. Like I said, I've been on this personal development journey for a decade, right? So these are all the same things that I've had to do. When something is not working, what do? Your pride will tell you, keep doing it, you'll figure it out. And then you don't seek help. You don't ask for advice. You don't tell someone. You're not transparent and accountable to someone to be like, hey, help me with this process. Hey, how should I think about this differently? Hey, can you help me do this? You're not saying that. You're taking it for yourself and just going, and it's not working. Ego, some of it can be healthy, especially on the most successful levels. But in general, ego is edging God out, right? You're just pushing God out of the way because it's about you, it's about self. These are things that you got to pay attention to in order to start to design your ideal life. Those two videos I just showed you today should plant some seeds for you to say, hey, am I dealing with any of these things? Do I have supreme belief? Am I dealing with blaming others? Or am I around people that are doing these things? Because both are the same. If you're around people that are doing it, you got to slowly remove yourself from those people because you'll become the next one. If not, then you got to start practicing the opposite of these. You got to start practicing the opposite. That's why we jump on these calls every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, right? Just to make sure you're in the right mindset. If you change your thinking, you change your life. If you want something to change, it starts up here, and that'll change your actions, your habits, and all the other things. And that's what we got to go do, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to go off and design our ideal life. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. People are counting on you to win. You don't know who it is, but people are counting on you to win. You just got to take this stuff and actually work on it, actually apply it, actually do the stuff that's going to help you design your ideal life, and your life will change. Love you guys. I'll see you here on Friday. Take care.